There's no cup to be won, but some could say that it's possibly a bigger prize going to the Premiership.
OK, Trevor, the kick-off just over 10 minutes away. You'll be hearing from the managers and players of both teams shortly. But first, the story of the second and third division playoffs finals, which have been taking place here at Wembley over the past weekend. Your commentator is Alan Parry.
Well, Wycombe have undoubtedly been the better side, but it's still 0-0, and Preston always dangerous from these set pieces. That's a lovely flick on two by Ellis. Oh, brilliant overhead kick! Ian Bryson gives Preston the lead. 32 minutes gone. Wycombe really rocked by that goal then, but they've come forward straight away. Garner in possession with a lovely through ball. Thompson! It's the equaliser! 30 seconds later, Wycombe are level. Steve Thompson. Dangerous looking cross. Cousins first to meet it though for Wycombe. And that's an excellent ball forward to release Tony Ellis, Preston's most dangerous player. And that's a great ball, and Paul Rayner's header has gone in. Preston have regained the lead, 2-1. Long ball by Hyde, dealt with by the Preston defence, but Titterton with an excellent through ball, and Garner has equalised. The old warhorse Simon Garner brings Wycombe Wanderers level. Ryan turning it on. Wycombe playing some excellent football now in this second half. Steve Guppy in possession for them. Thompson, lovely move. Garner, and this is Carroll. 3-2 to Wycombe. Carroll. Thompson making the run, he had to check. But they back off at their peril against Carroll. A superbly skillful player on the ball. And that's a brilliant goal by David Carroll. 4-2, and Wycombe home and dry now. David Frayne with the free kick, just 2 minutes gone here. And Chris Beaumont with a header! Stockport take the lead! Wallace. McMahon does well to win it back. And then Wallace and McMahon clash. And Wallace is going to be in trouble here. The referee reaching for a card, it could be red. Burnley going forward again, searching for this equalising goal. David Ayres, their leading scorer, has equalised his 28th of the season. Brilliant goal. So they've now got only 9 men on the field here, Stockport. Beaumont and Wallace both sent off. Here's Parkinson. It's gone in. Burnley take the lead, and Stockport's Wembley jigs could strike again.
So Wycombe and Burnley through into the next division. Trevor, you reckon that there's something those two sides have in common?
Well, I think that the team who like to come here and play open attacking football and like to pass it around, Wembley certainly suits their styles. And what we saw in those two games there, with the two teams who play a more direct game, that's Preston and Stockport, those were the two losers.
So how would you apply that logic to this afternoon's encounter?
Well, I would slightly favour Derby because they have, in my opinion, Premiership players who like to play a passing game. Leicester have done extremely well. This is their third time now at Wembley in the last 3 years. They play a more direct game, but I think that Derby just will shade it today.
Moving back to Wycombe briefly, many people have seen them going all the way, including the commentator on that, Alan Parry, a Wycombe director, I understand.
Well, I'm pleased for Alan Parry, but I'm also very pleased for my old Forest teammate, Martin O'Neill. He had the chance to go to Forest this time last year, decided to stay at Wycombe, and I'm sure he feels he's made the right decision. OK, O'Neill's loyalty well rewarded. All right, then, let's hear from the two camps, starting with a man who's been involved with Derby County for a quarter of a century, once as their greatest player, now as their manager. Roy McFarland is talking to Gary Newbon.
Roy, how do you view this playoff?
I think it's a good East Midlands derby played at Wembley, Gary, and the reward for both teams, obviously, is to play in the Premier League. It's like a cup final today for both clubs, and there's a lot at stake, obviously. And the prize, the best prize of all, is to play in the Premier League.
Brian, most people view Wembley as a wonderful day out. For you, it must be mixed feelings before you start the match.
Yeah, I think it's a bit different this time. You get a feeling in the dressing room. I mean, it's pretty quiet in there, believe it or not. I think the last 2 years, as we've driven into the ground, people have been jumping up and down, the players have got excited. It's not quite there today. I think, you know, we mean business. I mean, we want to enjoy it, but I think everybody's all too wary of what goes on if you don't win the game.
I think there's a hell of a lot at stake. I don't really agree with them. I think if you do your stuff over the season and you finish in the top 3 or whatever's stipulated at the start of the season, you deserve to go up through that. As you said, there's so much at stake. It's such a tense day. You know, it's exciting for the supporters, and it brings in a few bob for the clubs, I suppose. But I'd rather see it done on a league basis and the top whatever go through.
I think there'll be plenty of goals. That's one thing I will predict. I think there'll be a few goals. Hopefully we can get a few more than they can.
Welcome back. It's Derby County versus Leicester City. Traditional Midlands rivalry dwarfed today by the overwhelming need to win this match and claim the huge prize of a place in next season's Premiership. Nail-biting stuff guaranteed for the supporters of both clubs, but especially the fans of Leicester, who've already seen their side fail at this stage for the last 2 years. Our commentators today, Kevin Keegan, and first of all, it's hello to Alan Parry.
Well, the playoff system has its critics, but there's no disputing the interest they've created. Football League attendances have risen every year since they were introduced in 1986, and the total at this weekend's 3 finals, over 160,000, is another record. Derby County have never reached this stage before, but they believe that fate could be on their side. They finished 6th in the league, the same position as the last 2 playoff winners, Blackburn and Swindon. No real surprises in their lineup. It's the team which beat Millwall in the semi-finals. Paul Kitson, the striker that many Premiership clubs would like to have, isn't properly fit, so Roy McFarlane sticks with the partnership of Tommy Johnson and Marco Gabbiadini in attack. Leicester's Brian Liddell had a very difficult team selection, with most of the players who've recently been out injured for them declaring themselves fit again. This is the lineup he's gone with, though. 3 centre-backs and 3 out-and-out attackers. Ewan Roberts brought back after missing the last 6 games. Steve Walsh has completed just 1 match in the last 7 months. Paul Kitson is among the Derby substitutes, and perhaps surprisingly, Julian Joachim on the Leicester bench. So 2 of the best players in the First Division don't even make the starting lineup. Today's referee, the familiar figure of Roger Milford from Bristol, who is in fact taking control of his last ever Football League fixture after 22 years in the middle. Some key players in both the attacking lineups today. Tommy Johnson here for Derby has a marvellous record in the playoffs. 7 goals in his 10 playoff appearances for Notts County and for Derby. Ewan Roberts, who's missed 6 games with broken ribs, brought back into Leicester's side. He scored a hat-trick when the sides met at Filbert Street just about a month ago. And in fact, all those goals came in the opening half an hour, all 6 of them. I do not think we will see a dull 0-0 draw today. Leicester City, all in blue, get the match underway then, attacking from right to left. And if it's half as entertaining as the game between Leicester and Swindon last season, we're in for another classic. Push in the back by Carey on Marco Gabbiadini. First free kick to Derby County. Cowans has got it moving on straight away. Forsyth finding Johnson. The layoff to Paul Simpson on Derby's left. And a good ball to Gabbiadini. Grayson across with the challenge. And the Leicester captain concedes the throw. And my opportunity to say hello and welcome to Kevin Keegan. Kevin, what kind of game are you expecting?
Well, obviously, it's a very tense atmosphere here. I think both sets of supporters have created a tremendous atmosphere. There's a big prize at stake, as Trevor Francis said, but hopefully a really entertaining game, similar to the one they had in the league, because I can't see it being goalless.
Gabbiadini tried to bring it down there. Johnson get the shot in on the rebound, turned half away by Gibson. Good ball marked to Pembridge, and the shot deflected away, and we almost had an early goal. Pembridge gets the cross in again, but straight at Blake this time. Coatsworth with the quick through ball, but Ormonroyd is clearly offside here. He hasn't heard the whistle. Well, certainly Gabbiadini could not have expected a chance to come his way that early, Kevin.
Yeah, and it ended up being a very good chance. A flick on here, and he finds himself in acres of space on his favourite right foot. Hits it well, actually, and the lad on the line does a terrific job.
Willis, the player who denied Gabbiadini almost first blood to Derby County. Simpson in possession for them. Whistle's gone, a foul by Gary Coatsworth, another free kick for Derby, which Simpson will take. Craig Short has come forward, the big centre-half. Cowans knocks it in and headed clear by Willis. Good early pressure this by Derby. Leicester haven't been out of their own half yet, but they've got a throw in now. Gary Charles tackle. He's played in 2 major Wembley finals for Nottingham Forest, his previous club, and lost them both. Blake turning it back to Carey. Short's clearance only as far as Roberts. Martin Taylor, Derby County's Player of the Year. This is Williams. Coatsworth clearance has only gone to Simpson. Now Cowans. Parks. And Charles. Good challenge by Mike Whitlow. Former Leeds United man, in fact, just 1 match short of a championship medal when Leeds won the title. Johnson's layoff finds Cowans. Craig Short knocking it long, straight onto the head of Willis. And Coatsworth with the up and under clearance. Williams, the man underneath it for Derby. This is Forsyth. And again, Willis skies the clearance. And Gibson only just forced that ball away from Harks. This is Whitlow. Walsh. Fine layoff to the captain, Grayson, who finds Coatsworth. But he used his hand to control it. Free kick to Derby.
It's very unlucky there. It's something you don't often see at Wembley, but that ball got quite a bad bobble, unless there was a lot of spin on it. There's Brian Little. I mean, I wonder what he's thinking. I mean, hopefully, I suppose if you're a Leicester fan, 3rd time lucky, please.
Difficult moment there for goalkeeper and defender as Tommy Johnson got in between them. Pembridge turns it in, looking to cause another problem to Gavin Ward, but he dealt with that cross very impressively. Only regained his place in the Leicester goal 3 matches ago after losing it to Kevin Poole, who's on the bench today. Craig Shaw back to defend well against Ormond Royd. Whitlow. That's a dangerous ball. Ormond Royd got in behind the last defender, Williams, but didn't make the most of the opening. Gabbiadini. Harks, the free kick had gone, or rather the whistle had gone for a free kick. Foul by Carey. Certainly been open though, Kevin.
Yeah, the pattern of the game's already there for all to see. I mean, certainly they've got a lot of football inside them of Derby County, but you mustn't underestimate Leicester. They're very direct, and they've got a lot of height, and they'll be dangerous from set pieces, especially.
Gabbiadini, taken away from him by Carey. Cowans finds Harks, and now Charles. Thunderous challenge by Whitlow, but Harks has survived it. And indeed wins the corner off Carey. He'll go straight to America when this match is over to join the USA World Cup squad. He's already joining up a lot later than any of their other players because of this playoff final. Into the near post area where Carey met it first for Leicester. Cowans knocking it back in again. It's a good-looking ball. Forsyth wins the header. Good skill by Johnson. And although it was way over the crossbar, that was impressive skill by Derby's top scorer.
He's got tremendous pace as Johnson, and one of the things he's lacked a little bit has been finishing, but this year he seems to have got his act together, and this wasn't a bad effort. I mean, it's the sort of thing you've got to try if you're going to be a striker, and he's used to playing more wide than he's playing today, but he's got pace, and that's the one thing that frightens defenders, especially big defenders, the type that Leicester have got.
Blake doing well there for Leicester, but Williams wins it back for Derby. Forsyth and Simpson on that far side. Blake has it back for Leicester, but he's given it straight to Craig Short. Play a little bit frantic, as you might have expected in these opening minutes. And Williams doing the sensible thing, making sure his goalkeeper was able to hand the ball. He's been really outstanding in his new position at centre-back this season for Williams. He's really a midfield player and has also played at full-back, former England under-21 international. Blake on to Gibson. Roberts ahead of him. Short is the last defender here. He had to win that one for Derby. Charles. And the challenge by Whitlow, when the ball had been played away by Gary Charles, has brought a free kick for Derby.
Just picking up your point there, Alan, with the lad Williams playing in the back four. I mean, I've seen him as a midfield player, and he's very cultured. I just wonder if that influenced Brian Little in picking the big men as opposed to Joachim, you know, because everyone would be surprised at that. I think two of the best strikers in the division are on the bench, which is amazing, really.
Carey's attempted clearance charged down by Johnson. Now Cowans. Simpson. Oh, that was a clattering tackle by Coatsworth, and the referee's reaching for a yellow card, I'm sure. Gary Coatsworth really caught the Derby man late.
Yeah, I don't think you can argue with that, and I think also from the referee's point of view, he's letting them know early on that, yes, I know there's a lot at stake here, but I'm not going to allow this game to fall down just through, you know, lack of discipline. It is a bit late. I must admit the lad Simpson reminds me very much of Robertson, who used to play at Notts Forest. He's a very similar type of player.
Good clearance by Orman Royd for Leicester, but it's gone. Second time to Cowans. Penridge lifts it on. Willis gets it away. One back by Roberts. Now Coatsworth. Just caution for that challenge. Williams heading it straight back in again. It comes to Coatsworth once more. And the ball really fizzing around at 100 miles an hour at the moment. Offside in the end when Cowans played it through to Simpson. Won promotion twice under Brian Little when they were together at Darlington, Gary Coatsworth, but can't complain about the yellow card for that tackle on Simpson.
No, that's true, and I think also what he's got to remember now is that he's up against a tricky winger for another 80 minutes who's going to come at him and try and trick him. He's got to be very careful.
Good clearance by Charles, but Whitlow keeps the pressure going for Leicester. Gibson, Blake. Cowans doing well for Derby. And then a very late and high challenge by Blake on Williams, and the Derby man reacted angrily. And the referee's calling Blake to one side. I think he'll just suffice with a telling off this time.
Could not have a better referee in charge of this game, and it amazes me that someone who obviously as fit as he is has sort of got to call it a day just when they've got all the experience they need to carry on maybe for 3 or 4 years.
Couldn't agree more. Treats players as adults, unlike some referees who tend to treat them as school children. It's an object lesson for a lot of referees, for my money, Roger Milford, and it's a shame that he's having to pack it. Penridge with the through ball, just nicked away from Charles by Gavin Ward.
I think one other thing that's very important to let people know, it's really hot here today, and Wembley is a very, very big pitch, and I wouldn't be surprised to see, come after about an hour, people going down with cramp and that, because it's going to sap the energy of this pitch today from this weather.
Cowans. Coatsworth. Willis. Blake did the right thing then to lay it off to Grayson. Good football from Leicester. But Coatsworth couldn't keep the move going. Grayson again. Coatsworth's given it away once more. This time to Forsyth, who couldn't profit from the gift. Certainly, as Kevin Keegan was saying, it must be 70-odd degrees outside the stadium, and I would think 10 to 15 degrees hotter than that down there on the pitch. And it'll feel hotter still. The Welsh international, Mark Pembridge, with the early throw. And Gabbiadini goes down under a double challenge, and Roger Milford has given Derby the free kick. Eight fouls conceded already in the opening, 12 and a half minutes by Leicester.
I don't think that's as surprising as it seems, because they are a big side, and they're going to have a job handling the little short tricky stuff with the side that Brian Little's had to put out today. But as I say, I'd be surprised if Derby cause them problems from set pieces, because they've got tremendous height advantage.
Cowans knocks that one in, and in the end, Leicester had problems getting it clear through Whitlow. Harks. Try as they might to keep the flow going then, Harks and Gabbiadini just couldn't get their telepathy together. Both teams currently in very good form. 3 defeats in their last 17 league games for Derby. Leicester City have gone 11 matches without defeat, interestingly drawing 8 of them. They've always been a difficult side to beat. Coatsworth with a rather sloppy long ball forward that's gone out for a goal kick. Leicester, remember, losing the last 2 playoff finals here, 1-0 against Blackburn Rovers, and then last year, memorably in a classic game, 4-3 to Swindon after they'd fought back from being 3-0 down.
I think also you've got to understand these players are playing now, and it's 3 weeks since we finished playing in the Premier League, and it does not make it difficult as a manager, I'm sure, to plan your progress for even the start of next season. You don't even know what division you're going to be in while the other teams are on holiday, sort of sunning themselves and relaxing.
Williams has missed out here to Walsh, and he couldn't feed Ormond Road. Charles, Harks, Johnson. Blake wins it back. Now Grayson for Leicester. Blake again, under pressure from Pembridge. Willis. Williams getting there ahead of Ormond Road, and Craig Short sweeping up behind him. The ball spending a lot of time in the air. Carey couldn't take it away from Johnson cleanly enough, but Grayson came to his and Leicester's rescue. You wonder if it's ever going to settle down this game. A long ball by Willis. Forsyth gives it back to Roberts. Now Blake. Gibson. That's a good ball. Wicklow. Gibson knocks it back in again, but it's a disappointing end to a promising-looking Leicester move.
Well, there's one of the players, Alan, who will want to put his foot on the ball. Obviously, want to deliver better than that. But he'll be saying to the lads, hey, let's steady down. You can't play at 100 miles an hour. And he's on the Leicester side, obviously. And then on the other side, you've got Gordon Cowans. And the two of them will be saying, hold on, we can't play at this pace in this heat for 90 minutes. Let's get a foot on the ball and let's start knocking it around. And I think Derby, this is to the advantage of Leicester while it's like this, because I think Derby are slightly better.
There's a great through ball to Johnson, and Gavin Ward did really well then for Leicester. It came from nothing net. Simpson lifting it over the defenders. Johnson's pace got him into a dangerous position, and Gavin Ward had to be on his toes. Kevin. At the other end, while you were watching that, there was a moment of horror for Taylor, the Derby goalkeeper, but they got away with it. Forsyth. Cowans. Parks. It's gone, luckily for him, to Craig Short. Now Williams, offside. Gavin Ward came out to make absolutely sure that Gabbiadini didn't go any further, and he was lucky the whistle had gone for offside after that challenge.
They're the sort of balls that Derby are going to be looking for all day. I mean, obviously he's mistimed this run. I don't think the keeper meant much about that. It's just Gabbiadini didn't stop. But with Johnson and Gabbiadini, they are very, very quick, and they'll take some catching if they ever get half a yard on you, and that's what they'll be looking to do all the time.
Ormonroy back again to the former Aston Villa and Manchester United man who's done well here. Can he get the cross in? Gary Charles made sure he couldn't. It'll be a long throw by Mike Whitlow. Ormonroy the obvious target, edge of the 6-yard box. Williams was the first to win it, though. Charles in a difficult position. He's got to get rid of this one. Carey wins it back for Leicester. Short's clearance to Gabbiadini. Cowans. Lovely first-time ball. But Williams couldn't keep the flow. And Coatsworth knocks it long for Roberts, who almost got in across the front of the defender, Craig Short. And still, this unrelenting pace goes on here. I don't know if they can keep this up for 90 minutes in this heat. Brian Carey, the Republic of Ireland international, one of the 3 Leicester centre-backs. Roberts, the Welsh international, has given it straight back to Williams.
Guarantee you one thing, Alan, when the players start to get a bit tired, this game will improve 50 to 75%, because at the moment, you know, the occasion, and they are harrying each other, especially Derby. They're really getting to the Leicester defenders very quickly and giving them little time on the ball. And hopefully when they get a little more tired and the conditions start to sap their energy, you'll see a much better game of football.
Cowan stretches to keep possession. Pembridge has given it away rather carelessly, though. Ormonroy. Walsh takes over. Not a bad ball either for Ewan Roberts. And still Roberts for Craig Short at the second attempt. Took it up in a nice little chip ball forward for Harks. Got 4 or 5 men forward here, Derby. Pembridge is one of them, but that's a sloppy ball by him. That will frustrate his teammates. And Carey just takes the heat out of things.
Well, Pembridge will be kicking himself there, because if he'd have just floated the ball over, it would have took the man out of the play who ended up picking the ball up. But again, just need players to settle down and we'll get a game of football here worth seeing.
"20 minutes gone, still Derby 0, Leicester City 0. County have got the free kick, the referee deciding that Gibson used his elbow rather than Whitlow, who also climbed high for the challenge. Cowans takes it quickly. This is Charles. Harks. Whitlow. And look at the room Walsh has got here, but he's got no one up with him yet. Blake arrives in support, but they've rather lost the impetus of that attack. Still in possession, though, with Grayson. Coatsworth. Goes in long towards Walsh. Oh, and Roberts somehow or other managed to hook it over. It was a good Leicester move.
Yeah, good build-up. I mean, it's just knocked in long, but this is where you feel they can get the better of them. They have got tremendous height, and he's unlucky. It's behind him, and he needed a little less pace on it. He might have lobbed it over the keeper. But that's where you feel Leicester are built to give Derby County problems today. The lad Williams, not probably renowned for his strength in the air.
for Derby. Carey heads it clear, only as far though as Pembridge. Now Johnson. Coatsworth hooking his clearance straight to Charles. And that'll be a Leicester throw-in, which they want to take quickly. But Charles wouldn't allow Walsh to do that.
Just felt about a minute earlier there when Walsh got the ball down the line, Alan, that had it been someone like Julian Joachim, he would have actually just made a beeline for the penalty area. But I mean, Walsh is a different type of player. He's there for his aerial supremacy and for holding the ball up.
Offside the decision. Let's quickly go down to our touchline reporter, Gary Newbon.
Well, Alan, both benches a little bit frustrated by their failure to actually get their forwards doing what they want. Kevin was talking about crossing the ball. In fact, they haven't really got the crosses in very often, Leicester, and they're worried about the ball going too close to Craig Short. So that's their game plan. On the Derby front, they want Simpson to move further forward, and also they're getting frustrated because they're not getting good ball to Johnson or Gabbiadini, who've got the pace to get through the Leicester defence.
Midway through the first half then, still goalless, this First Division playoff final. Derby County against Leicester City. Good movement up front for Leicester from the free kick. Williams gets it clear though. And Charles took his time with that clearance and allowed Ormonroyd to make it difficult for him, but he's done well to win it back and find Hart. Pembridge. On it goes for Gabbiadini, and he's got Johnson in support here, and he finds him. My word, you would have put money on Tommy Johnson finding the net then. It was a superb, incisive Derby move, but Johnson couldn't finish it off.
Well, this is quality. A great ball from Pembridge. A terrific run from Gabbiadini. He's so strong, and to pull this ball back here was marvellous, really. And I think Johnson, well, I said before, I don't think finishing is his greatest strength, but he would have expected to score from there. A terrific chance to put this game, put themselves a goal up there.
A let-off for Leicester City. And a free kick for them now as well. Foul on Ewan-Roberts.
Derby won't want to be giving too many free kicks away in these sort of areas, Alan. This is where Leicester are strong. They've got a terrific height advantage. They've got 6 guys over 6 foot in there, and I think Short is about the only one for Derby who I would say is over 6 foot and good in the air.
Problems then for Martin Taylor in the Derby goal perhaps, but the free kick has to be delivered properly to be dangerous, and it wasn't. And suddenly Derby have won it back and counter-attack swiftly again with Pembridge. Johnson to his right, Simpson to his left, and it goes to Johnson. And probably that was the wrong ball, and in any case Johnson was offside.
Oh, Pembridge will be kicking himself. You ever saw the full angle there, because on his left-hand side was Simpson completely free. Look, Pembridge is cutting inside. What you can't see is outside on his left is a man totally free, and that's Simpson. And he's hell-bent on coming this way. And in the end, it's a badly timed run from Johnson. He just couldn't wait anymore.
But Derby have opened up the Leicester defence twice in quick succession. Good kick by Ward. Ormonroyd beaten to it by Williams. Coatsworth. That's disappointing. Certainly the 2 regular league meetings between these two sides in the Ensley League this season were eventful, as I mentioned earlier. 3-3 at Filbert Street. Derby won 3-2 at the baseball ground in December. Ball given away to Simpson. He's done well here. Looks for Harks in the box. Headed away by Carey. Johnson's in there for Derby. But Leicester get it clear, and that's an obvious foul. Craig Short pushing Ormonroyd over. So it all slows down and calms down. One of the few moments in the match when it has. Free kick. Ormonroyd wants it played into him. Simon Gray Grayson, the former Leeds United player, will take the kick. Walsh is another possible target here. And Ewan Roberts, who wins the header well. Whitlow. Coatsworth. Gabbiadini tries to get Leicester on the defensive again, and that's a good through ball, and Johnson bursts onto it brilliantly. Oh, it's a superb goal! Tommy Johnson gives Derby the lead. 18 minutes to half-time.
In the end, it was route one. This is a great ball, this in. And, I mean, as I said to you before, once he gets head start on these big guys, they're not going to catch him. And that proved the case here. And what he did this time that he failed to do last time was he thought, hold on, I'm going to hit the target this time, even though it's on his left foot. And that's a tremendous finish. Great ball from Simpson. There he goes. And this is the one way that Derby are going to catch them out time and time again. They haven't got this pace to cope with that at the back. They definitely haven't, and it proved it there. Great finish from the lad, and makes up for the bad miss he made just, what, 2 minutes earlier?
So Johnson keeps his fine Wembley record going. He scored in Notts County's 2 Wembley playoff victories against Tranmere in 1990. In fact, he got 2 goals when Notts County met Brighton in 1991. So all 3 playoff finals in which he's figured, he's scored. So Leicester City find themselves a goal down again in the playoff final. But remember last year when they played Swindon here, they went 3 goals behind and still came back by a little side to force it to an exciting climax, which they eventually lost 4-3. Whatever Leicester have, they have spirit and they have great fighting qualities, as they've proved all along this season. And Derby will know that a 1-goal lead will not be sufficiently comfortable for them to take the foot off the pedal.
I think what that goal will do, Alan, it will steady the game down a little bit. Certainly from Derby's point of view, because they're used to pushing the ball around and knocking it around. And Leicester, well, they'll realise that the kick and rush stuff's not going to cause Derby so many problems, and they've got to just ask a few more questions of them.
In goes the free kick. Up goes Craig Shaw with a splendid header clear. Willis turning it back in again, though. Ormonroyd wins it this time. It comes to Walsh. The layoff to Carey. He finds Whitlow. Danger here. A lot of players forward for Leicester City. Gibson. Great ball. Whitlow. They're queuing up for the cross, but it was Cowans, rather surprisingly, who met it first.
You'll want to see a clip of that, will Gordon Cowans, because he doesn't win many headers in the box, but that was a very important one. And he's working his socks off out there. I'm very, very impressed with him, because he has got a hold head there and he's working as well.
Corner goes in high, and the keeper did well to punch that one clear. Gibson turning it back in again. Taylor comes out, but he was fouled. Walsh angry with the decision. He says, not me, surely. But Mr. Milford right on the spot. Free kick to Derby. Well, from the other side of the ground, we can see again the superb pace and finishing ability here of Tommy Johnson, the Geordie, who has given Derby a moment of magic. Johnson again, this time given away to Grayson. 2 big clubs these, of course. Leicester City relegated from the top division 7 years ago, whereas Derby County came down from the top flight only 3 years ago. And I'm sure in terms of stature and size of their support, either one of these would grace the Premiership. Only one of them can do that. Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest got those automatic promotion places. Which of these 2 is going to join them in the top league next season?
We've also got to consider on top of that, Alan, is that the funnel that is the Premier League is getting narrower every year. Next year, just 1 team going up and 1 through the playoffs and 4 coming down. So this year is a very important year for these 2 clubs, and they'll both be desperately wanting to win it. And you can see that already in their attitude towards the game. It's not been pretty, a lot of it, but you certainly can't question the effort on both sides.
Derby have finished 3rd, 8th and 6th in the last 3 seasons. Leicester equally consistent, 4th, 6th, 4th again this time. Willis for them has given it away to Mickey Forsyth. Derby's longest serving player gets it forward again, but out of play for a Leicester throw. Roy McFarlane took over as manager in October after 14 years at Derby as a player and 10 as Arthur Cox's assistant. People have been saying that if they lose today, his job is on the line, and he has accepted that from the moment he agreed to become manager. Derby are literally desperate for success and promotion, and Grayson's got himself in a bit of trouble here and just about wriggled out of it. That was risky. Carey. Simpson now for Derby. Takes on Coatsworth. Gabbiadini, that's a lovely ball back to Simpson. And Simpson's done brilliantly, but just run out of room. Excellent run by the former Oxford United and Manchester City winger.
A terrific run, and I tell you, a great piece of defending. I think it's from Grayson, because a lot of defenders would have given away a penalty. He touches it on, look, he's going to go, and then he just suddenly stops. And I think also in the Simpson's mind was the fact that he was probably going to get a penalty as well. Very good defending. Great break again from Derby. They're starting to ask a lot of questions of the Leicester defence.
But Leicester have won a free kick in the Derby half. Well, the aerial bombardment will continue here. Number 9 Walsh, number 10 Roberts, number 11 Orman Royd coming forward. So is 6 Brian Carey and 4 Willis, the defenders. Now, can the delivery be better this time from Colin Gibson? It's not bad. And it was Gabbiadini who, in the end, conceded the corner. It could have been a lot worse.
As we've said before, it is from these set pieces, corners and free kicks, they're going to get problems. And here, he's not got the height to really clear it properly, but he gets a vital touch for his side there, does Gabbiadini.
Same problems again then for Derby from the corner. Well, we underline once again that if you've got all these big players who can create havoc in the box, the delivery has to be right. And sadly for them, Colin Gibson didn't get it right again then from the corner.
That's the sort of thing as when you're a manager, it gets you going grey. I mean, you've only got to look at Brian Little and people like myself. You work hard to get a corner, you get all your big men up, and you think, here, let's do something we've worked on in training, and then suddenly he puts it straight behind. And it's probably the most experienced player who's done it, so it does get you.
Gabbiadini, Pembridge. Good challenge again by Willis. Walsh. It's a good layoff from the big man to the other one, Whitlow. Looking for Orman Royd. Williams climbing highest. It's good football from Gary Charles. Williams goes for the long ball to Johnson. Carey is right behind him. And Whitlow had to go back to ensure they kept possession. Craig Shaw's going to have a busy afternoon with those headers, and he fell very awkwardly then when he climbed up for that one and took a knock, big Craig Shaw. He's okay. That was the way he fell rather than the challenge which hurt him here, but he's back on his feet again. Orman Royd. Gibson turns it on. Walsh there with Williams. And Walsh has battled to try and win it back here. Difficult one for the referee to sort this out. Walsh keeps going, and in the end, Walsh gets a free kick. A tribute to persistence.
Yeah, he worked really hard to close him down, but again, the lad Williams, that's the sort of thing a midfield player will do when he's at the back. He just didn't want to just kick it out. He didn't want to just play a negative ball, and that's the difference sometimes. But he's done terrific in the first 37 minutes of this game at the back. Very impressed with him.
Blake will take this free kick, and it's a better one. Met well, though, by Craig Short. And this is where Derby are looking dangerous on these quick counter-attacks. They've got 5 men forward again here. But Cowan surprisingly gave it away, trying to release Simpson. Charles under pressure from Norman Roy. Well played. And a great ball. Johnson. They're flowing forward to support him. That's a great tackle, though, by Carey, isn't it, just? Brian Carey, the former Manchester United player, with a really important challenge. Parks to Charles. Gabbiadini. Charles takes over again. But Leicester have it back momentarily. Not long enough. It's a good ball for Pembridge. He can hit the ball well, but the challenge from Willis just made him take his eye off it at the vital moment.
Interesting stage of the game with just 7 minutes to go to half-time. I mean, from Derby's point of view, I think another goal and you know, it would be a massive mountain for Leicester to climb. And Leicester have got to hang in there, get to half-time and do a little bit of reorganising, because they haven't really caused Derby too many problems in this half.
I would think Leicester would be more frustrated than anything about the free kicks and corners that they've wasted. That's a good through ball, though, from Norman Roy to Walsh. Still Walsh. That's a corner. As big and strong and determined as they come, Steve Walsh, who's played, remember, only 1 full game in the last 7 months. He had a very serious knee injury.
He's another successful conversion from a centre-half, and he's scored a lot of goals in a very short period as a centre-forward.
Free kick goes in high again towards all those big men on the far post. It comes back out to Whitlow, and he's driven a brilliant shot in. Well saved by Taylor. That's excellent play by the Derby keeper.
You can see why he's been voted their player of the year there. He couldn't have seen a lot of that ball coming. And that was a terrific strike from Whitlow. It really was. Great save. I mean, he got it too well. He could have done with cutting the neck off it, as we say in the game. But look at that. It's come through a cluster of players, and it's a great save.
Leicester are back under pressure themselves. But they're OK. They're safe for the moment. Coatsworth in possession. They bypass the midfield again with the long ball up to those big men at the front. And Blake battles to win it back off Cowans. Well, Whitlow really struck this one viciously, and Martin Taylor made a brilliant reflex stop. Martin Taylor's the only Derby man who's played in every game for them this season, and will be lifted by that marvellous save. Blake for Leicester. Coatsworth, that's a dangerous ball, that. And the keeper's beaten to it by Walsh. It's gone in! Steve Walsh! Leicester are level!
Well, didn't take a lot of predicting how they might get a goal, Alan. Big, high ball, a ball that really the keeper should have dealt with. But not only that, if we watch it, not only does he not deal very well with this ball, Williams really should have cleared it for me. Watch here now. A lot of players, he can't get to it. But Williams, it was easier to edit than miss it. He just seemed to get as if he got rooted to the spot. I think he maybe expected the referee to give a foul. But suddenly the game comes to life.
I've heard of a missed kick. That was a mishead by Paul Williams, and Steve Walsh has profited. It's his first goal for 8 months, and it has brought Leicester City level at a crucial moment in the game. Only 4 minutes of the first half remaining. It was a gamble even to play in, and the gamble now has paid off handsomely for Leicester. Whitlow for them. Blake. Forsyth's clearance to Simpson. And Coatsworth takes it off him. Ormonroy. Blake. Coatsworth. Given away. Pembridge looks to use the pace of Johnson again, this time down the left. It's good defending this time. Play on, says the referee. I think he would have given a foul against Johnson anyway. Coatsworth hammers it in again. Craig Short's clearance has dropped nicely for Leicester. Gibson. Not a bad effort from that range, but always travelling wide.
What an incredible game this football is. I mean, for a long, long time in this match so far, for probably the best part of 40 minutes, one team has fair dominated it, and then suddenly Leicester get a goal, and the last minute and a half, they've looked like they could go and actually get another one, and actually go in unbelievably at half-time, 2-1 up. But they have kept working. They've never given up with a game plan, which is tremendous credit to them. And in the end, I suppose, they'll be the side at half-time who will go in on the ascendancy and feel they can win this match now.
And their confidence displayed with Colin Gibson trying that long-range shot. Willis receiving treatment for a knock.
Notice how many players are taking drinks now, and that this is going to be very important today. It's something we never seemed to do in the olden days, as they say. We never thought about fluid intake and sweating and salt and all that sort of thing. But it's very important nowadays. Everybody does it, so it must be right.
I think the old days players certainly concentrated on fluid intake, but not actually during a game. Fair comment, Kevin?
No comment, Alan.
What, you played at Liverpool and nobody took a drink? You cannot believe it. Well, it's really set it up splendidly now. We're in the last minute of the first half. It was a frantic, hurry-scurry sort of match for 20-25 minutes. But those two goals have settled the teams down and really brought the crowd and the match to life. Ormonroyd's header is a good one. Walsh, it's a good through ball, and also Robert. Oh, the defender Forsyth had to be in quick then. Ormonroyd is lying injured and will need treatment before the game continues.
He fell very awkwardly there, Alan. He's a big lad. He's been at both clubs, so it probably means even more to him than most players on the park. Here's the through ball again, and this was well dealt with, because I tell you, if his touch is just a little bit better there, Roberts, I think it was, he would have been in with a scoring opportunity on his left foot. Here's that incident. He does fall awkwardly. It's not that bothers him. It's, look, all his weight's on one side, and that when you're tall, obviously, looks that much worse.
He went down like a felled giraffe there, didn't he, in Ormonroyd? He's 6'5", and a better player on the ground, I think, than a lot of people give him credit for.
He's also got quite good pace over a distance, and I think Wembley will suit him if he gets the right sort of service over the top. He can really motor when he gets into that stride.
So we're into stoppage time now at the end of this eventful first half in the playoff final. And it's Derby County 1, Leicester City 1. Tommy Johnson and Steve Walsh, the two goal scorers. The sun's gone in to give the players a merciful break of cloud as Johnson flicks it on to Gabbiadini. Gabbiadini's done well here. Whitlow with a typically earthy challenge. It's only a throw, though. No, I'm wrong. The referee did give the free kick. Gary Charles will take it. Craig Shaw climbing high. Forsyth in behind him. Johnson goes in, and it comes to Gabbiadini. He just couldn't get a shot through that crowd of players, but it comes to Forsyth. And in the end, there were just too many players in that crowd for any space to open up for Forsyth or anyone else.
There's Brian Little. If you watch this is where I didn't think Derby had caused him too many problems. But actually, they've had 2 or 3 little half chances from them. They don't clear it. I think it's Royd knocks it up in the air. And this is half a chance when it first comes. Just here now. Second time round. Here we go. If he just gets this on target even, but he just takes a bit long and scoops it wide. But we've certainly seen in the last 15 minutes the sort of game that we hoped it would be. It's just come alive.
And with 2 minutes of stoppage time completed, referee Roger Milford has blown the half-time whistle. Derby County 1, Leicester City 1. Let's join Gary Newbomb.
Brian, your plan to play the big fellas up front finally paid off for you.
Yeah, I mean, we've decided to play a certain way against them. At times it isn't pretty, but it can be effective. We just feel today it's a strength we've got to try and play to.
Are you worried about their pace up front?
Yes, I am, without a doubt, and we'll try and do something. We've got to keep 3 against 1 if necessary sometimes, and we'll try and do that.
Welcome back. It's Derby 1, Leicester 1, as you saw there. And I think fair to say, Trevor, that it's now a bit of a game after Derby took most of it in that first half.
Yes, I felt for the first half an hour, Derby created 3 good chances, played the better football. Leicester were very predictable. I don't think they've got enough variety in their front 3. They've gone for the 3 big ones up front, but it was no surprise, really, when Derby actually sort of created the first chance. And it's a great bit of football, probably the best football of the first half. Good ball from Pembridge. Gabardini shows great vision, just plays it across to Johnson. And I felt here he should have showed a bit more composure, stopped the ball, and then shot. He chose to hit it first time, and you saw the end result.
Exactly. Well, in a couple of minutes, he made up for it, didn't he, in spectacular style?
Yes, it was always going to be that ball over the top. It's caused Leicester a lot of problems with a lack of pace. Johnson gets onto it, shows composure this time, gets it onto his left foot, and that's as cool a finish as you're going to see.
We can see it again here from a higher angle.
Yeah, it's a great ball. 30, 40-yard ball over the top of the defence. And Johnson, he's away, isn't he? Shows great pace, and that's a great finish.
Well, at that stage, Alan Parry was saying that if they went on and got another one at Derby, it would leave Leicester a veritable mountain to climb, but that's not what happened. They hung on in there, and they put some pressure on that Derby goalmouth. They brought a great save out of the keeper, first of all.
Yes, it didn't come from either the front 3, Royd, Walsh or Roberts. It came from the left back, Whitlow. He hits it very well here, and you see the ball, it moves around in the air, but the goalkeeper Taylor makes a good save. Unfortunately for him, it comes back into play, but Derby defence do the job well and get it clear.
Well, they went one better. A couple of moments later, Martin Taylor could do precious little about this header from Steve Walsh. Well,
he could have punched it, or he could have caught it. He's actually fouled there, isn't he, by Roberts? And the ball comes to Walsh. I don't know what Williams was thinking of on the goal line. That's a bad error of judgment. But it's as we expected, isn't it? The big ball, you know, it comes into the box. Here it comes now from the full-back. That's Coatsworth, who plays into the box. And there he's fouled. That's quite clearly a foul by Roberts.
Well, that's one to discuss, hopefully, a little later on, Trevor. Thanks very much. But it's time now to catch up on the result of our last World Cup '94 competition. The question we asked was, which was the last English club to win the European Cup Winners' Cup? Was it A, Liverpool, B, Manchester United, or C, Spurs? And as you may have spotted there, the answer is Manchester United. The winning entry came from Liam Clappy of Southampton, Hampshire. Liam will be the guest of ITV and American Airlines holidays at the World Cup final in Los Angeles on July the 17th. OK, more on the World Cup later this afternoon with a special report on Jack Charlton's Republic of Ireland side. But coming up after the break, it's Derby versus Leicester, at stake a place in the Premiership. We'll see you in a couple of moments. Welcome back to Wembley. The players yet to reappear onto the pitch, but we seem to have uncovered something of a controversy, thanks to our slow-motion cameras, with that Leicester goal. Because although the Derby players didn't seem to be too angry about it, this camera quite clearly, Trevor Francis, shows that Roberts fouled the keeper.
Yes, he makes no attempt to play the ball here. He just goes in, Taylor comes for it. And there, you can see quite clearly that is a definite foul. But as the ball goes into the goal, what Williams is thinking of there, all he has to do is head the ball out, and he seems to duck. I think it must have been the spin that deceived him.
Maybe he was worried about handling it, but I mean, can you understand why there was no reaction from the players?
They were probably undecided, and there was no reason for them to complain, but I would think that, you know, when the manager sees that, Roy McFarland, he'll be very, very disappointed.
Well, as far as we're concerned, it makes for a lively second half. I think that's an understatement, but in no uncertain terms. You were, I think, leading towards Derby County before the kick-off. How do you feel now?
Well, I still feel the same way. I think that both teams prefer to go forward. I think there's always going to be goals. I was at the game at Filbert Street 2 months ago, and there were 6 goals scored in the first half an hour. We haven't got that today, but I'm sure there'll be more goals in the second half because, you know, with players like Gabardini and Johnson up front, they're very, very lively and they're always likely to score. I would like to see a bit more variety in the Leicester attack because I think they've got 3 6-footers. They've become very, very predictable, and they do have an excellent player in Joachim on the bench who's very, very quick and lively, and I think he could cause 1 or 2 problems.
Well, despite there being level goals-wise, we can have a look at the match statistics and see how it comes up quite neatly, I suppose, in favour of Leicester City. Now, that does confuse me, because 5 goal attempts each, and 3 corners, in fact, to Leicester, and yet, as you said earlier on, half an hour, the first half an hour, belonged to Derby.
Well, it depends what you call attempts, doesn't it? I think in terms of good chances, Derby had the best of the play, and definitely the best chance was Tommy Johnson, the one that we showed earlier on, when he should have stopped the ball and then put it into the net. He chose to hit it first time and put it past the post, but he certainly made up for it when he scored that great goal.
Well, we understand there are no substitutions for the second half, so that presumably means no changes in tactics.
Well, we don't know if there will be changes in tactics. I would think that Brian Little's had 1 or 2 words with his defence. He's virtually playing with 3 central defenders there, with the 2 fullbacks, Coatsworth and Whitlow, not able to get forward. So he does have 5 defenders there, and they're virtually playing against 2. So what they're doing is they're hitting everything from back to front and virtually missing out the midfield.
OK, Trevor, I'll interrupt you there just briefly to go across now to Gary Newborn, who's talking to the Derby manager, Roy McFarland.
Roy, your goalkeeper Martin Taylor has just asked me, was that a foul by Roberts on him? And our replay says it was a foul.
Well, Roberts said it was a foul himself, so yes, it was a foul. But I mean, we've got to go back to the referee, Gary. We played our football, we've had our chances. We should have been, I thought, comfortably another goal up on them, but we're not. But we've got 45 minutes to put that right.
Your 2 front runners are certainly giving defence problems, Gabardini and Johnson.
We played well, we've got clear, and to be fair, Gary, we should probably Tommy should have had another goal, shouldn't he? All right.
Thank you.
Well, Roy McFarland still looking reasonably optimistic. Let's now rejoin your commentary team for the second half. The Newcastle United manager, Kevin Keegan. But first, here's Alan Parry.
So the bandsmen have done their bit, entertaining this capacity Wembley crowd during the half-time interval. Now it's down to the 22 players again. A beautiful setting on a day that's, well, it's almost June, isn't it? Incredible to think that they're still playing domestic football so late in the season. The man, Lionel Pickering, whose millions of pounds have helped Derby to climb into this lofty position of the playoff final, but a man who wants results yesterday, like a lot of chairmen and directors in the game. And Roy McFarland knows that maybe in the next 45 minutes his job could be on the line. It seems harsh and ruthless, but that's the way it is in the game, and he accepts that as a professional. Derby County in the black and white, remember, going forward now and finding Johnson on the edge of the area with that good early ball from Charles. Carey gets 2 opportunities to hook it away. Remember, if necessary today, we would have half an hour's extra time and penalties if that was needed to sort out Roy McFarland and Brian Little's little argument. Cowans turning it forward to Gabbiadini. It's a good through ball to Hart, and Hart finds Johnson. Another early chance then for Derby, and a little incident then as the challenge was made. Johnson wasn't at all happy with it. But that certainly was a chance. Willis lying injured.
Yeah, I don't know what happened afterwards, but this was another great little move from Derby. A super ball inside on the angle there, and a great pullback. And he does get there first. And I know Willis was in close attention, but he really, should have hit the target possibly again. But something happened afterwards that annoyed Johnson, and he seemed to do something to Willis, which I don't think we even saw in the slow-mo there.
Maybe felt that Willis carried through a little bit with the challenge, but in a position like that, what defender wouldn't have done?
Great ball back from Harks. He gets there first, look, I think the defender's got every right to go in there. Well, I don't know if something happened after that because we don't see it.
Johnson's all right again. Willis is still on the ground, enjoying his longest run in the Leicester team since he was brought down from Darlington, another of Brian Little's old players from his northeast days. He was actually a ball boy here for the Liverpool-Manchester United FA Cup final in 1977, and as a Scouser, that is a day that he'll never forget.
I played in that one. It sort of ages you a bit when you put facts like that out, Alan.
Sorry, Kevin. Charles knocking it long for Gabbiadini. Away by Carey, played back in again by the American international Harks. Roberts finds Blake. Good run by Blake, and in the end he was tripped by Simpson. Fairly obvious foul as well.
He just knocks it too far, but he gets to it first, and he tempted the player in, I think. And you know, typical wingers challenge, handbags at 5 places.
Here is Blake again, the club's record signing from Portsmouth, former Aston Villa. Gets it back now from Willis and wastes it.
It looked like a poor ball there from Blake, and of course it was, but it was interesting to see just how quickly Derby are closing Leicester down. They're not giving them any time to settle and asking them to really produce skills and that, and at times they're being found wanting, at other times they're doing it very well.
This is Carey for Leicester. He's hit it straight at Harks, but got away with it. However, it is a throw. Kevin, of course, you managed the side, Newcastle United, who came out of this division and have done extremely well in the Premiership since. What would you say would the prospects be for either of these sides, whichever is promoted?
Well, I think there's no doubt about it that Derby have had players who've been there before, so they probably would suit. They would make the transition probably a little bit easier than Leicester. Leicester would cause problems of a totally different kind, the sort of problems that sometimes, you know, I don't mean in a nasty way, but Wimbledon cause you. But I think Leicester have got tremendous height, they've got tremendous passion, and obviously if they get up, the money that brings in will encourage the chairman to spend some money and buy maybe different type players. But you can't question the spirit. I mean, we played them last year, and we beat them 7-1, and they played very well. Their spirit's excellent, and they beat us down there. They are a good side. I would like to see Joachim come in at some stage, because I think he's so exciting.
They'll cause themselves a problem here with a corner needlessly conceded by Willis, but they've survived it for the moment. Williams given away to Carey. A long ball forward for Walsh to chase, but he'll never get to that. Gary Charles is swift.
Gary Charles always seems to have so much time to play this game of football. I watched him when he was in Notts Forest reserves a couple of seasons ago, and he's almost, he gives you heart attacks even if you're not his manager. But he's very, very complacent, but in a nice way. I suppose he knows what he's doing, knows what he wants. He's certainly a Premier League player, there's no doubt about that.
He actually played 8 games on loan for Leicester City when he was in Forest reserve side in the 88-89 season.
Yeah, he's never rushed. He takes his time, and he always seems to find that extra few seconds you need to play. And of course, when you go up the division, you do get a little bit more time to play in certain areas, certainly at fullback. And as I say, I think he's a Premier League player.
Whitlow with the long throw then for Leicester City, looking for Ormonroyd, who wins the little flick on, but the whistle has gone. Free kick to Derby County. And certainly with the benefit of hindsight and 2 or 3 slow motion replays, Kevin and I would agree with the assessment from Trevor in the studio that it certainly looked suspiciously like a crack in the face delivered to the Derby goalkeeper Martin Taylor by Ewan Roberts when Leicester got their equalising goal. I don't think the referee could really have expected to have seen it from there, though, the position he was in. Roberts getting up well this time, but the header has dropped to Mickey Forsyth. And again, poor distribution, really. Willis knocks it long for Ormonroy. Well, the flick-on would have been perfect, but Roberts had gone left rather than right.
Very difficult for this Derby defence because they know what's coming. They know they're going to hit it fairly long and for the big guys, but to defend against it is difficult, especially, as I said early on, when you've only got Short, really, who is commanding in the air.
Harks for Derby. Charles makes a good overlap down the right. Needs a bit of help now and gets it from Gabbiadini, who falls in his attempts to keep the ball, but Charles crosses irrespective of that little problem and finds Simpson. He's got away from Coatsworth and turned it into Johnson. Good tackle by Willis. Clean and kept the ball. Roberts dispossessed by Williams. And then Roberts quite clearly barged the Derby man over, and the referee was perfectly placed to see that one.
Yeah, Williams getting into more familiar territory there, Alan. He's done ever so well at the back, apart from the goal, but this is where he likes to be, and he does pack a fair old shot when he gets into that sort of position. But Ewan Roberts wasn't going to allow him any time, and showed maybe why he's not a centre-half.
Gavin Ward lines up the wall then, because he knows they've got some useful players over the ball here, Derby. Cowans might try and curl it. Pembridge can crack the ball. And they've also got Simpson, all three of them quite capable of doing something special here. Not to mention the option of lifting it high to the likes of Forsyth and Shaw. What's it to be? It's to be Cowans, and the wall is to do its job. Williams firing the rebound rather tamely straight to Ward.
I told you Williams had got a good shot, didn't I? And that wasn't it. But again, I think, obviously, from a free kick like that, you need a bit of deception over the ball. It was so obvious what he was going to do.
Walsh at the other end has committed a foul, backing into Short. Cowans. Harks. And now Pembridge. Beautiful control on the ball by Gordon Cowans. Still got those lovely silky touches. Pembridge chipping an excellent ball through to Simpson. My word, Gavin Ward did really well then for Leicester. Almost played like a sweeper there to come and clear that one away from danger.
That's very, very important for Leicester that he continues to do that, because there's no doubt about it, that ball over the top is causing an unbelievable amount of problems.
Coatsworth getting it clear under pressure there from Simpson. Pembridge possesses a long throw that has proved to be a useful weapon for Derby in the past. And this one goes in towards Craig Short, but is headed away by Willis. Oh dear! Forsyth turns and presents it straight to Walsh. I don't know what on earth he was thinking of. And Walsh has kept the flow going with a good ball out to Whitlow on the left. A lot of players forward here for Leicester. Ormonroy, they might have just lost the impetus of this attack slightly, but that's a fine ball for Whitlow. And in the end, the final cross that was so important was so disappointing. Forsyth will be a relieved man, the Derby player. He started all that off with a mistake.
I think what he was trying to say to the referee was that he shouted for it. But here's a substitution that it must be very exciting for a manager to bring on somebody like this.
I think it might be Ewan Roberts he'll replace. 6 games he's missed because of cracked ribs. It was always a bit of a risk to play him today. He hasn't done anything wrong, but now they've got the option of the 19-year-old exciting England Youth International Julian Joachim, who scored Leicester's first goal to begin the fight back against Swindon Town on this very ground a year ago.
A complete different test now for the Derby back four, because this player's unlike anything they've faced so far in this match. He's everything they're not. He's small, he's quick, and he can finish if he gets in there.
So Brian Little, the first to use a substitute. 11 minutes gone in the second half. He'll be praying he doesn't get any injuries now. Ormonroy beaten to it. Marvellous header away by Short. And suddenly Whitlow brings down Gabbiadini when he was in full flow away from him. And I think he's going to be in trouble for that challenge.
Well, I'd like to see the referee play on here, because he could have booked him afterwards and let them have the advantage that they deserve, because although he fetched down one of the players, I think it was Gabbiadini, was it? He fetched him down. Harkes is still on his way there, and in some ways he's sort of penalised him twice, but again he wants to make the point that he's not going to allow professional fouls and stuff like that, and he's done it very well right throughout the game. He's been very consistent.
The second Leicester player booked then. The free kick driven into Gabbiadini again, who has committed the foul himself this time on Brian Carey. Just to confirm, in fact, from the Leicester bench that the substitution of Roberts by Joachim was for purely technical reasons. Roberts wasn't feeling the old rib injury. Brian Little just decided he needed to make a change. Alan Evans and John Gregory is coaching partnership alongside him there. John Gregory, who actually used to play for Derby and helped them to promotion.
Three very good players there with Brian Little on the end. They were all very, very good pros, and I'm sure able to pass on a lot of information and experience to younger players.
Decent five-a-side team in training as well, I would think. Ormonroy finding Joachim. Whitlow on the left. The challenge by Harkes was enough, and it came off the Leicester man. And that must have been a foul for her, I presume, because
I think he just pinched too many yards. I mean, the offence was about 5, 6, 7 yards possibly from where he took it, and he's penalised them for that.
Yeah, I think you're right. And against Leicester, giving away a throw-in can be dangerous. Here's Blake, back to Whitlow. Harkes' tackle is a good one, and it's still in play. Well played, Whitlow. Derby in the end had enough men to win it back, and Harkes knocks it long looking for Johnson. Grayson's header finds Gibson. On it goes for Ormonroy. Craig Short right behind him. So Leicester throw again. Gibson this time. On to Ormonroy, who's done well. Gibson. Now Whitlow. Gibson's still there. And once again, Derby managed to block the cross thanks to Charles. And that little hectic period of activity for the Derby defenders has ended with them getting a throw.
He'll be disappointed a little bit there, Colin Gibson. I mean, first of all, he was on his right foot, which admittedly is not his best foot, but he had time. Having not delivered it, he then got it back on his left foot with a lot more time and still did manage to get the ball in the middle. But when you think of all the injuries he's had and how long he's been out, it's tremendous that he's playing here today.
Leicester are having a good spell here in the second half. Walsh. That was not the ball that Coatsworth wanted, really. And Williams hooks it away. But Leicester stay in the Derby half. And here's Joachim. Lovely gifted player with bags of pace and good ball control, and just as I say that, he gives it away to Simpson, who hits it long for Johnson to chase. Grayson couldn't win the ball cleanly, took the man, and the referee's calling him to one side. Now, how does he deem that? If he thinks that Johnson would have been round him as the last man in defence, he could call this a red card offence rather than a yellow.
He just said there, read his lips, I'm not going to send him off, and I think he's right. I genuinely think he went for the ball. I just think the pace of Johnson won the day. But he's just going to book him.
Yes. The Derby fans won't agree, but I think the referee was spot on there.
Yeah, also when you're finishing, you don't want too much paperwork when you're going on your holidays, do you?
That was a genuine attempt to win the ball, although he did bring the man down, and he has conceded the free kick, but it's a yellow card.
May have been a different story had he been more central, Alan, but from that position he wasn't really in a goal-scoring position. He may well have got into one, but I think common sense has prevailed.
And it's set up for Pembridge to hit it straight at the wall again, though. And then there's a little incident off the ball involving Gibson and Simpson, and the referee saw it and wants them both to come over and discuss things with him.
That's a bantamweight contest compared with most of the people on this field. But the two players who are not really going to kick lumps out of each other. Just a little bit of frustration, I think. But, yeah. Oops. Yeah.
Those handbags again that you were talking about.
Yeah, no one really getting hurt. And no one really meaning anything too bad.
A playground scuffle, and the referee deciding not to take it any further. Ormonroyd couldn't quite direct that header where he wanted it, and Cowans hits the immediate ball looking for Johnson. It's Derby's favourite tactic.
It's incredible to think that we were talking beforehand about how Route 1 Leicester are, but actually all Derby's problems that they've caused Leicester have come from fairly long balls as well.
Walsh. Ormonroyd. Stabbed forward by Carey towards Jochin. Williams gets it away from him and does really well there. Now Simpson. Forward to Gabbiadini. He's got Pembridge in support and finds him. Very good defending by Willis.
He's had a very good game so far, Willis. He's been, of all the three defenders, he's been probably the one with the most composure. And when you think he's come from Darlington and he's made the step up look not too difficult a job for himself.
Well, Jochin had to try and beat the linesman then. He had to go round him to try and get that ball, and the linesman proved a redoubtable opponent.
It's a bit worrying when the linesman's got more pace than your quickest man, but that looked the case there.
Well, that was the day I knew my football career was over, when I tried an overlap and was overtaken by the linesman. The boots went in the cupboard then. Here's Johnson. On to Simpson. Good tackle by Carey, and Blake just cleans it up nicely. Craig Short's header clear, and Gabbiadini was onside. He just hesitated for a moment, and I think Leicester thought they were going to get an offside verdict as well. Forsyth has lost out there to Gibson. Jochin takes over. Walsh far edge of the penalty area. It's a great run by Jochin. Well, it's ended.
My goodness, he could have got a penalty there. If it had been, I suppose naive, it's a lovely word, but I know a lot of people would have got a penalty from this situation. See, this is a different confrontation now. The big fellas wouldn't have done this, but this guy's just going to go route 1 for Williams and go for the penalty area. And watch this. If he just there, look, he could have gone down because his touch wasn't so good.
At the other end, it's Johnson again, fouled by Grayson. And Grayson's very angry that Johnson was trying to make that look worse than he felt it was. And Ward had to come out and clear things up while that little bit of an argument was going on. Well, McFarlane feeling the tension of the occasion. But again, I don't think anything amiss at all about that Grayson challenge. Pembridge with the throw. And it goes towards Craig Shaw. Won by Ormonroyd for Leicester. It's Pembridge again. That's dangerous. Ward's got to claim that, and did so in splendid fashion. Strange coincidence, incidentally, today. Gavin Ward here, and Derby's goalkeeper Martin Taylor at the other end went to the same school. Steve Thompson, the other Leicester substitute, stripping off, about to come on. So they'll be fearful that their goalkeeper doesn't get hurt. Willis has lost out this time. Johnson. Foul by Coatsworth. It's looked a bit of a harsh decision to me, I have to say, and I think the Leicester players are getting increasingly angry with Johnson. Certainly clumsy, wasn't it?
Kung fu classes came in handy there. It wasn't as bad as it looked. I don't think for 1 minute Coatsworth meant it. The ball was just spinning. But if Leicester are going to make another substitution, I feel it must be because somebody's injured, because there's a long time still to go in normal time, and then there's also the thought that maybe there's half an hour of extra time. And with no subs and red-hot weather and cramp and all the sorts of things that can happen, I feel that must be because someone's struggling out there.
73,000 added to the 44,000, Burnley against Stockport, the 40,000 Wycombe Wanderers against Preston. What a tremendous weekend of high attendances we've seen here at Wembley in these playoff finals. A record, in fact.
What we've got here, Alan, without doubt, is two Premier League clubs. I mean, massive support. You've only got to look at this stadium and then go to the stadiums. Leicester have got a magnificent new main stand there now. It's magnificent. And Derby are moving grounds. They're thinking Premier League, but unfortunately only one of them's going to get in there. And at this stage, you wouldn't like to bet on which one.
Free kick to Derby County then. Johnson still limping a little as he takes his place in the area. Cowan's whipping it across, but no one ever had much of a hope of getting on the end of that from Gordon Cowans. And now Steve Thompson is about to come on. He's not exactly a lucky mascot when it comes to playoffs, Steve Thompson. Would you believe he's appeared in 6 playoffs now and has been on the losing side 5 times. Gary Coatsworth is the man he will replace.
And there'll be a few tactical changes now in the Leicester side, I think, because will he go straight in at right back? Will he push on? I mean, he can play in a fair few positions.
I would think what would happen is that Blake, who has gone onto that right-hand side of the field before when they've changed things round, might slot in there, or Grayson indeed could move from centre-back because he's quite comfortable at right-back.
Yeah, I think it's Grayson who's come over on is it Grayson? Yeah,
yes,
on the right-hand side, and that's what change they've made.
Well, he's a good player, Thompson. He's a lovely user of the ball. He's been out injured for a long time, otherwise I'm sure he would have been in the first-choice starting lineup anyway.
Well, they've also got another super player who's injured at the moment, Mills, who is probably one of the best players outside the Premier League for me. And he hasn't had the best of luck with injuries, so great credit to him for getting this far, and they may go further.
Dangerous ball comes into the box, and Hart's heads it straight across the 6-yard area again. Gabiadini couldn't reach it. Corner kick to Derby. Willis and his defenders have to be on their toes again. Cowans will take the kick. Into that near post area, and Willis has headed it straight out of play again for another corner.
It must be so difficult for Cowans when he gets on the ball, because he's only really got short to aim for me. Otherwise, he's got to deliver really whip balls in.
And that's a better one, but Ward claims it quite comfortably, and a good early throw out finds the substitute Thompson. This is Grayson, who has moved now to the right-hand side and finds a good ball down to Joe Chim, who couldn't control it. Simpson gets the better of Grayson. Looks for Johnson down the centre. Carey takes it off him this time. Good defending. And a long ball for Ormonroyd, who wins it well, but no one in behind him to take advantage.
Carey showing great composure there, and a lot of people were surprised when he paid quite a lot of money to Manchester United for him, but he has looked a tower of strength out there today.
20 minutes to go. Let's hear about Leicester's substitution from Gary Newbomb.
Well, the Leicester assistant manager, Alan Evans, told me that Coatsworth is very tired, so what they're doing, absolutely right. Grayson in the right-back position, Gibson in the left-back position, Whitlow in the centre, and Thompson coming on into midfield with Blake.
Evans just urging one last big effort from his players, who must be getting tired now in this heat, as it's knocked forward brilliantly by Harks to Gabiadini for Derby. He's done well, Gabiadini, but Whitlow has done even better. He had nowhere to go. He suddenly saw the route out of trouble closed off.
He looked so composed for about 10 seconds there, and he suddenly thought, right, I'm in the penalty area, I don't know what I'm going to do now. And he did the right thing. He kicked it out, because not many goals are conceded when you kick it out, and then directly, that is.
Hembridge with the throw-in. Craig Short getting up well, but it's a nice, comfortable loop into the arms of Gavin Ward.
The only thing I think Brian Little might be worried about, Alan, is what I said before, is there's still a long way to go in this match, especially with extra time coming up. And you've got some players out there, a lot have been injured, haven't they? And they're just coming back. You've got people like, well, certainly Gibson, Walsh, and that would be a little bit worrying. But he's adventurous, if nothing else, I must say that.
Yes, at one stage, Brian Little had something like 8 genuine first-team players unavailable to him because of injury. A mistake there by Taylor, but the referee won't let Walsh get away with that. He says he weren't 10 yards away. And Walsh will say, well, why did he take it then?
I think he was saying I was stood where the linesman told me to, but it didn't look 10 yards, did it?
Didn't. Cowans heads it straight to Grayson. Forsyth. Willis's header. Blake in strongly, but it drops nicely for Gabbiadini, and Pembridge takes over. Good block by Carey. Gabbiadini finds Johnson again. Too many players to find a gap to make the shot telling. And here's Jochen. It's a poor ball, intercepted by Harks. On it goes to Charles. Gibson back into an old familiar position for him at left back now. Harks. And Leicester defend well again, but they've got to face a throw. Harks. The clearance has gone straight to Cowans. Charles. Oh, it's a great return ball by Harks. Charles with the cross, it's a bit too deep. But Derby keep the pressure going.
I feel that's what Derby have got to do. They've got to start playing little 1-2s and trying to get in and around these big men at the back there. That's the best way, because once they get in wide positions, the delivery today hasn't been that good. It's let them down badly, really.
Forsyth finds Pembridge again. 17 minutes to go. Knocked in long towards Harts on the far post. That was a good header and a fine save by Ward.
One of the better balls he delivered in. The goalkeeper really couldn't come for it. And in the end, they could have done with someone coming in for the second ball. It's too far for the keeper to come. It's bending away from him. He's decided, look, there not to come. And Harks does ever so well. He's only up against Gibson, who maybe heading's not his strength, but he still did well.
Gabbiadini knocks it long. Johnson's offside. "16 minutes remaining in this Ensley League First Division playoff final. The stakes could hardly be higher. A place in the Premiership next season, and the millions of pounds that would mean to either of these clubs, whoever's successful. At the moment, it's still deadlock. Derby 1, Leicester 1. Simpson. Remember, Leicester City have been here before, twice in the last 2 years, and failed both times. Orman Roy beaten to it by Williams. Gary Charles for Derby County. It's a good strong run at this late stage of the game by Charles, and a good ball too to Johnson. Now Gabbiadini, and he threads it through for Harks, and the cross is dangerous, but no one on the end of it. Simpson. Pembridge pops it in to exactly where Ward wanted it. Well, you're tempted to think, Kevin, that if we get a goal now, it could prove to be the winner.
Yeah, it's also much more even second half. I felt Derby had the edge of the first half, despite the stats showing them pretty much level. But this half, it's been much more of an even contest, and in many ways, you think Leicester are probably the ones who are just knocking it around a little bit better.
And they're going forward again now with Willis, and that's a useful-looking cross. Taken away by Charles. Thompson. Carey just helps it out to Gibson. And that's too long. Now, there was only 2 points between these two sides in the league table, and in what was a very close division all the way through, it's no surprise that the playoff final is equally tight. Simpson. Johnson.
Just sometimes the final balls let Derby down, but they've got in some very good positions where they really should have caused the Leicester defence more problems than they have in this second half.
Craig Short has headed it out for a Leicester throw-in. And nobody's picked up Ormonroy. Lays it back to Walsh, who did well to get there with Williams bearing down on him. Blake hooks it in high again. Walsh with a good header. Ormonroy. Jochen's unmarked. The edge of the 6-yard box. If he could have forced it through to him. Leicester fans claiming it should have been a penalty. The referee rightly says play on. Johnson. Pembridge. Charles. Hart making an option for him down the right flank. Gabbiadini and Johnson in the middle. And he finds Pembridge. That wasn't a bad effort.
He has got a good shot on him. Maybe the chip might have been better there because the keeper's come out always to now the angle. He was about 6 yards out. Was Ward, is it? And maybe a chip. But he has got a tremendous dig on him, as they say. He can hit him. I've seen him score goals from 20, 25 yards when I've been down to the baseball ground. But in this case, I just thought maybe he had a lot of time. Look, he might have been advised just to try a little dink over the keeper, who's quite a long way out. The thing is that they've played...
Sorry, just to interrupt, Kevin. We had that penalty appeal moments earlier. What do you think of this, seeing it again now?
No, I think the ball just wouldn't come down for him. He's a big lad. It takes him a while to get in place, but it's bouncing up, look. And it would have been very harsh, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the guy wouldn't have been allowed to go near Derby for the rest of his life if he given that as a penalty.
I think Mr. Milford is right again. 12 minutes to go. The referee's had a good game in his final appearance in a Football League fixture.
Yeah, he's done a terrific job, and I tell you, it's so important.
Pembridge takes the free kick intelligently, quickly. Gabbiadini gets into the box and gets the cross in as well. That was dangerous. Johnson was just behind Willis.
Yeah, he done very well there to Gabbiadini. I think he'll be winning a few friends here. A lot of people have criticised him over the years sometimes, but I think today he's held the ball up well. He's certainly been aware of players around him as he was there, and he was in the first half, and he's had a very good game.
Cowans with the corner. And the header was rather tame, in all honesty, by Marco Gabbiadini. Played here for Sunderland against Swindon in the First Division playoff final 4 years ago. And this is how that corner came about.
He does very well here, heads into the box, and you'd think the defender's favourite, but he whips his leg round. It's very brave, that, and I think it's Johnson again, just not expecting him to do that, really.
Simpson now for Derby. Johnson to his left, Gabbiadini to his right. He went all the way, and the shot at the second attempt is fielded by Gavin Ward. Got a great goal-scoring record, Paul Simpson, but not on target that time. Well, he was on target, but couldn't beat the keeper. Gibson does well to win it back and find Jochin, and back it goes to Gibson again. Walsh and Ormonroy both in the box, and the cross deflected behind for a corner by Gary Charles.
Good little move that from Leicester, and what has happened since the changes have been made by Brian Little, you've got a little bit more quality at fullbacks, I feel. Certainly with Gibson, he can deliver. You know, he's a winger come fullback, and he's happy in those positions, whereas before I didn't feel that Coatsworth was.
10 minutes to go, it's 1-1, Leicester's corner. Walsh got up splendidly, and Jochin just couldn't flick it back to him. Johnson at the other end, beaten to it by the magnificent Willis.
I compared Simpson, who's in the picture there now, with John Robertson. A lot of the youngsters won't remember John Robertson probably, but certainly the dads might, and he has got a bit of that about him.
There's Jochin. And a free kick has gone Leicester's way for that challenge on Jochin. And it's a good position.
I'd like to see that again. I felt that was a little harsh. I felt that Jochin had actually, with his touch, knocked the ball too far. But the referee's in the right position to see it, and this is a very dangerous position to concede a free kick. Not long left. just 9 minutes. It would be a terrible time psychologically to concede a goal.
Whitlow or Thompson, the two choices here for Leicester if they fancy a shot on goal. It's Whitlow, and it's a good one. It was hit powerfully, but the wall is in the right place. 8 minutes remaining of normal time. Remember, if it's still level, after 90 minutes, we've got extra time. Willis pumps one in towards Walsh, but Charles got in his way. And the referee saw nothing wrong with that. Whitlow's clearance has gone to Pembridge. Blake wins it back for Leicester. Then volleyed forward by Gibson. This is dangerous. Difficult one for the defender here, but how well he coped with that problem. Well played, Craig Short. Johnson. Forward for Gabbiadini. Whitlow takes it off him. There'll be some tired legs out there now. 9 months, 40-odd games in the league alone. And it all is down, possibly, to the next few minutes. It's a bad challenge by Whitlow and Gabbiadini.
Yeah, when you say it quickly, it doesn't sound a lot, but they've played 49 games and they still don't know whether they're going to come in the Premier League, any of these sides.
Carey leaves the cross to Gibson. Good ball forward from Grayson. Ormonroe gets it down and attacks the Derby defence. Well, that was meant for Joachim. Charles read it, though. Now Cowans. Gabbiadini took it well. It was a difficult ball, that. And a good ball forward, too, for Johnson. Danger here. Leicester have defended well again. But Cowans wins it back for Derby. And there's a slip, and there's a chance here! And Harkes could have made glory for himself. The man who made history, John Harkes, is the first American player ever to score a goal in a major Wembley final. Could have had another headline.
Well, it was a comedy of errors almost that won it, because this wasn't a great ball in from Gordon Cowans. He knew what he wanted to do, but it's too low. It's a defender's ball, and he slips. And then he tries to get ahead on it, Colin Gibson, and it's just lucky it's on his weaker foot, his left foot, and he really snatched it a little bit, and that was a real chance. Look at the time he's got here. But there you go, another one passes you by, and they're the sort of things, he missed them, and then suddenly they get one at the other end, it goes in. But you can't fault this lad's enthusiasm. He's a terrific athlete. He can cover this Wembley ground up and down all day. And as I say, had he been on his right foot, I think it might have been a completely different story.
Played here no fewer than 4 times, of course, for Sheffield Wednesday last season, John Harkes. But this moment could have been more exciting for this particular American than anything they managed in the month of June in the World Cup finals. That could have been the winner. Well, on goal attempts, Derby seemingly have the edge. On goals scored, there's nothing between them. 5 minutes to go.
Leicester, no more subs left, and I still feel that might have a little part to play in this game. It's a long 15 minutes each way on this Wembley pitch, especially in the heat that we've had here today.
So Leicester have survived a scary moment when Harkes might have given Derby victory. Here's Joachim for them. Williams with the interception. Carey's clearance drops to Blake. On it goes to Walsh. It should be routine for Charles, but Ormonroy's making life difficult for him. And Leicester get the throw.
Ormonroy did very well there, Alan, didn't he? He chased an absolute lost cause, and he's got his team throwing in a very good area for them.
Taken quickly. Williams with a good clearance. Race. Thompson. Walsh. Good ball back into Joachim. Bit of magic from him, perhaps. It's a good ball. Grayson. And it goes towards Ormonroy. Brilliant save indeed. Walsh has scored. Leicester Leicester City are in dreamland now. That might be the goal that finally takes them to heaven. Because heaven is what these fans will regard the Premiership as. And Brian Little's team, thanks to the inspirational Steve Walsh, might just have made it at the third attempt.
This is a terrific move, the best move of football by Leicester in this match. A magnificent cross here. No other word for it. And a great save from the keeper. But who's there? It's the centre-half turned centre-forward Walsh. And that's football. Derby have had their chance, Leicester have had theirs. The difference is Leicester have taken it, and unfortunately Derby didn't, and that could be it.
Ormond Royd celebrates his vital part in that vital goal. And Steve Walsh, the man who's been out for 7 months, the man whose knee ligaments were wrecked and has spent so much time just working hard to get himself back to fitness, comes in for only his second full game since early in the season and gets his second goal that might win the playoff final and the place in the Premiership for Leicester City. Unbelievable excitement around Wembley now. 3 minutes to go, indicates Brian Little. Leicester have got a throw in. And that'll kill a vital few seconds more for them. Ormond Royd on to Joachim. Short. I think we've had a substitution during all that excitement. Looks like Kaman has come on for, or Kitson's come on rather, for Derby. As Cowans wins possession back again for them. And knocks it forward to Simpson. Cowans again, across the box to Harks. How vital his miss a few minutes ago could prove to be now. Leicester have a player, Gibson, lying injured, as Cowans turns it in, headed away by Carey, only as far as Charles. The cross has got to be good here, and it was good, but Johnson couldn't reach it. Simpson couldn't get the shot in either, and Grayson gleefully hacks it clear. We're into the last minute. Leicester City are leading 2-1. The Premiership is in sight for them. Julian Joachim in possession. Williams has taken it off him, but Joachim still going strong. It took 3 men to dispossess him. And now there'll be a stoppage as Gibson, I think it is, has gone down injured.
Well, you've got to feel sorry for Derby County and the fans at this stage, but who can deny Leicester City? I mean, it's the same, we all know, third time lucky. A lot of people doubted that they could do it, but it certainly looks now like this club, and it is a big club, looks like it's going in the Premier League.
Paul Kitson just confirming his arrival on the field as the excitement died down from the second Leicester goal. And we are approaching the end of 90 minutes here. Joachim is offside. We're into stoppage time. A few fans thought that was the final whistle.
I think there'll be a fair bit of stoppage time as well, Alan, won't there?
Certainly. There have been a couple of injuries, lengthy ones too, as Taylor delivers the ball towards Johnson, and Gabbiadini almost got on the end of it. Headed clear by Wicklow. Simpson turns it in again. Another spectacular headed clearance by the magnificent Willis, who's had a superb game at the back. So we're into stoppage time. Pembridge with a long throw. Craig Shaw gets up but can't get on the end of it. Johnson turning it back in again. Ormond Royd's there to clear his lines. Kitson with the shot, but it's wild and well off target. Here's the goal again that could give Leicester glory.
Tremendous ball inside from Joachim. This is the key for me, that great cross. Super header. Terrific save, but sod's law for a goalkeeper. In it goes, falls to a blue shirt, in this case Walsh, and he's not going to miss from there, 3 yards out. A terrific goal, worthy of taking him into the Premier League, I think.
Well, I'm sure a lot of neutral fans around the country will be behind Leicester City, having lost twice here. It would have been so cruel to lose again, but now they're looking at victory, and they've got a corner, and that's vital to keep the ball in this half of the field. Brian Little trying to remain calm. He's not succeeding. A minute and a half of stoppage time has been added. Leicester City are leading 2-1. Derby's hopes are evaporating before their eyes. Thompson with the corner. Walsh lets it go. Ormonroyd's header. And Kevin Keegan, your opportunity to name your man of the match.
Well, I think it's got to be Willis. I agree with you entirely. I think that the whole back three, especially second half, played terrific. But he was an absolute killer in the first half as well. And he's my man of the match. I think just for simply his attitude towards the game, he's wanted this match so much. He wants to play in the Premier League, and that gives him the edge.
So is Leicester City's long-standing Wembley jinx about to end here? They've never won at the famous stadium in their entire history. This is their 7th attempt, remember. They've won a throw-in, and that might just be enough to kill a few more vital seconds for Brian Little's team. On it goes to Walsh, the hero, the goal-scoring hero, and he's won a corner. Oh, you can feel the tension for Brian Little and everyone connected with Leicester City at the moment.
As long as the ball stays down that end, Alan, he'll be an happy man. He might be showing signs of tension, but while you've got a corner, you rarely lose a goal. But the way this game's gone, it's had so many twists in the second half. But I think Leicester, as the game has gone on, have come more and more into it.
Ormonroyd just deprived of the chance to head goalwards by Craig Shaw. They've just got to get it forward now. And forward it goes to Johnson, but he has no support. Gibson hits it in for Jochin. Jochin could round it off here for Leicester City. Well saved. Martin Taylor did well. And that's the final whistle. Leicester City have done it. Twice the Wembley losers, now the Wembley champions. And Steve Walsh has come back to give them glory and a place in the Premiership at long, long last. You can feel the emotion draining out of Brian Little, and the emotion too for the Derby players in defeat. Gary Newborn is down there in amongst the excitement.
Brian, first time Leicester have ever won here at Wembley, and it was a match you had to win after 2 years of disappointment.
Yes, I mean, I don't think we played great football. We decided that before the game. We wanted to come and be tough. I mean, I think the feature of the last 2 months, we've gone behind in so many games and come back to draw and sometimes win. And we just said before the game, if they score, hang in there. And I mean, we've had a couple of breaks, obviously. We're just chuffed to bits. I can't believe it.
What is the release for you? Because you've been under such strain, you know, the expectations this time around, you couldn't have lived with defeat.
Well, I guess if I've been under a bit of strain, I might have a lot more to come. So, I mean, I've got to be able to handle it. I mean, it's a great feeling. I mean, I've come here as a player and never lost, and I know what it's like. But I can tell you at the moment, I mean, it's a long time since I've been choked up, and I really feel it at the moment.
What about a word for Derby? You had the chances in the match. You hardly had a chance, and Walsh scored both your goals.
I know. I mean, if we look at them individually, they've got some real talent, and we knew we'd be under pressure. We felt we've got to hang in there. I mean, things like coming and watching the Villa playing Man United not long ago, where they hung in, was a lesson to me. And I think we've just learned a lesson out of that book as well. And we've done our best, and it's a great result, obviously.
What about Steve Walsh? Because in the first year of the playoffs, he gave away a penalty. Then last year he did score a goal that put you back in. And today he came big like you and won the playoff with two goals.
I mean, it's hard to describe Walshy because he's been injured for a long time, and we try and slow him down. We try and get him to recover from things, but he just wants to be involved. I mean, he's been telling me for the last 8 weeks, despite his bad knee, if we got the playoffs, he'd be ready for me. I mean, it's tremendous. He needs a nice break now. His leg's going to be sore, he's going to be stiff as a board tomorrow, but I don't think he'll care.
And you're in the Premier League, Brian, in case it's not sinking in.
No, I know, it's tough. It will be tough for us, but we'll give it everything we've got.
And we're going to be joined now by Steve Walsh, who has only played 1 game since that injury. Steve, we were talking before the match about the heartbreak for you and Leicester. It must be your greatest moment, 2 goals in a playoff and Leicester finally winning here and finally getting through to the Premier League.
Well, absolutely overjoyed. I don't think we played too well, to be honest, but I think the result we knew at the end if we played a 5, we wanted a tight game. We could have conceded 2 or 3 goals again, but the last-ditch tackles have kept us in the game, and we stuck. I think we've got big hearts, the lads, and we stuck by it and sneaked one in the end. That's all we needed, just the one chance, and we took it.
OK, it's presentation time. Leicester are in the Premier League. I think it takes some sinking in after the disappointments the last 2 years.
It certainly will. We're having a couple of beers tonight, I think. For the first time for 7 months, I tell you.
OK, well done, Steve.
So, scenes of devastation down on the pitch amongst the Derby players, but Wembley is all about winners. Leicester City know what it's like to lose here. 2 successive playoff finals, they ended up the beaten side. But today, memorably and historically in their case, they climbed those steps as winners to receive the Football League trophy from Mr. Mike Naylor, the managing director of Ensley Insurance. And this is going to be one of the most satisfying moments in this club's long history. It could have been a 3rd successive defeat and tears, but it'll be tears of joy now for Simon Grayson, the captain of Leicester City, as he receives his medal and now the trophy. It means promotion. It means millions of pounds. It means heartbreak to these Derby County players. And they all receive a medal as the tears flow for Tommy Johnson. It's impossible not to feel the emotion of these occasions, and Tommy Johnson, who strove so hard to win it for his side. Big Ian Ormonroyd back in the top flight again, where he played, of course, for Aston Villa under Graham Taylor. Steve Thompson, 3 losing finals for Bolton Wanderers and Leicester City, now a winner. Brian Carey never made it at Manchester United. He's made it now with Leicester into the top league. And Mike Whitlow, the former Leeds man, didn't quite get a medal when they won the championship, didn't play enough games. He's got one now. Gary Coatsworth from Darlington to the Premiership. What a story. Gavin Ward, the goalkeeper who won back his place a few games ago. And Colin Gibson, another man who's seen life at the top with Villa and Manchester United. But the hero of the day to these Leicester fans gets his medal last of all. The 2-goal man, Steve Walsh. Kevin Keegan, great scenes these.
Well, the great scenes for one set of supporters, and my goodness, don't they deserve it. They've been here twice before. They know exactly, the Leicester players, how the Derby players feel. But I do feel that there's just, you know, the winners can laugh and the losers here have got to make their own arrangements. It's a terrible thing for them. They don't even get to go up the stairs. They're not going in the Premier League. It must leave them really down, but it's Leicester's day. That's the way it's got to be, and my goodness, they deserve it. They came back into the match.
So the playoff weekend is completed. Wycombe Wanderers, Burnley, Leicester City, the winners, and for Leicester, that means the Premiership next season. We'll be back after this break.
But he said with that famous smile of his,
countries prepare their squads. The USA found some form when they beat Armenia 1-0, although they wasted many shots on goal. The chairman of FIFA's Medical Commission, Michael de Hoog, has warned all World Cup finalists not to underestimate the risks of playing in the high temperatures that will be experienced in the USA.
Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia were the first team to arrive in America, landing in Washington for their Eastern-based matches. Promotion for the World Cup in New York has included the Legacy Tour 94, which finished its 3-week run in Central Park.
In club news, AC Milan has added the European Champions Cup to their overburdened trophy cabinet by defeating Barcelona 4-0 in the final.
Last week on Sports World, we saw Independiente maintain their position on top of the Argentinian league ladder, despite drawing to Racing. This week, they were away to La Plata and took advantage of a defensive mix-up to score through Garissa after 9 minutes. Independiente couldn't press home their advantage, allowing La Plata to equalise with just 6 minutes remaining. Independiente's rivals Platense won and have now taken over on top of the league.